Hi and a warm welcome to you all. My name is Rohini, and today, as part of our Raagmala Picturing Sound series, we're going to be in conversation with famed Indian Sufi singer and actress Zila Khan. This session today is part of a series being hosted by the CSMBS under the aegis of the Museum on Wheels Outreach Initiative supported by City India. The Museum on Wheels is currently hosting an exhibition, In Tune, The Journey from Sound to Music, and our session with Zila will have us delving deeper into her journey as a musician who comes from 7 generations of an unbroken lineage of sitar and surbahar gharana. 5 generations of recorded music from the time recording started in 1902 when her great grandfather, Ustad Imdad Khan Sahab, was the first one ever recorded, followed by her grandfather, Ustad Inayat Khan Sahab, and her legendary father, Ustad Vilayat Khan Sahab, and then, of course, Zila Khan and her siblings and the next generation that follows. Let's get into a little bit of a musical performance by Zila, and then on the other side, we'll have a conversation with her.
ਅੱਖੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਹਿਣ ਦੇ ਅੱਖੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੋਲ ਚੰਨ ਪਰ ਦੇਸੀਆਂ ਬੋਲ ਪਾਵੇ ਨਾ ਬੋਲ ਅੱਖੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਹਿਣ ਦੇ मुरली बजा के जीवे कर गया रोगी वे कनवी सिवा के जीवे बन गया जोगी वे दिलां नू न तोड़ी जीवे सजना न मोल वे दिलां नू न तोड़ी जीवे सजना न मोल बे चन पर देसिया बोल पावे ना बोल अखियों को रहने दो अखियों के आस पास दूर से दिल की बुझती रहे प्यास अखियों को रहने दो We grew up in a environment where we had English music, film music, all kinds of music, and it was nice to see folk music being sought after by film music directors so much. And the way this song is, Akhiyan nu rehn de, akhiyon de kol kol, chan pardesiya bol paave na bol. Bolo ya na bolo, bas mere aankh ke paas raho, kareeb raho. And how it was used so beautifully because it gives a new lease of life to the folk song. Akhiyon ko rehne do, akhiyon ke aas paas. I think film Bobby used it. I think so. So, what a lovely, lovely song, and how we delve and we take from folk music from time and time again, and from classical music, and make it even more popular with the medium of the film industry, which is a beautiful thing to do.
Hi, Zila. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, Rohini Adab, and wonderful to see you, and fresh and lovely and bright as ever.
Thank
Always.
you so much. Zila, my first question is a bit of a journey, so forgive me and please be patient. I'm going to start with the fact that you were always your father's right-hand man, forgive the expression, learning classical music from him and putting yourself through extensive riyaz. And your classical music training brought on the dimension of khayal gaiki into Qawwali and made it Sufi with Sufiana lyrics and the Qawwali beat. I remember in 2000 when Sufi music was not really as fashionable as it might be today. You were a pioneer to revive Sufi singing, and many new artists became Sufi singers because of that craze that brought on, the success that, followed your sort of steps. Can you take us through this rebel-like journey of constantly innovating with your music?
Well, I think that because it just came so naturally, a wonderful question, because yes, in 2000, when we started doing Sufi music, it was mostly in the Qawwali style, like Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab and Sabri brothers. And there were Qawwals in Saharanpur, our relatives of Yusuf, Khalu Yusuf. And तो ये Qawwal वगैरह थे. But we haven't had Sufi music as it became was because of my khayal training, of my classical training, that I used in the format of Sufi music, the bhakti ras, ruh ko udana, to fly with whatever God has put inside you, and to really from up there look down at the universe and the creation and the so to be able to be one with the creator, that is my calling. And with the help of khayals and with the help of the sama and the beat and the dhamal of Qawwali, so both these things then became then I enjoined them into one. And we had this new genre of Sufi music, as it's called today, or Sufi singing, as it's called today. Earlier, it was not like that. It was either Qawwali or Khayal or Bhajan. But Sufi music is something that that was created, but it was very natural for me to sing it that way, because I could not sing it like Shakila Bano Gopali, the great Qawwal woman singer. I mean, amazing, dynamite woman. I could not do नैना से मिलो मेरी आँखन से मिलो सबसे मिलो आओ तो एक बार मेरे दिल से मिलो गुले गुलशन से मिलो. तो ये जो चीज है ना, I can sing it, but I could not portray it like a qawwala. I couldn't portray it like a qawwal. I was more mellow, and I learned classical music, so my father's style was very dignified. Yes, his expressions came on his face with each and every, not just the note of the sound or the sur or the sur, but even with the nuances of the shrutis of the notes, what he was trying to do when he did Gandhar of Bhairavi, and the way he used to do different Gandhars in his Bhairavi, in Darbari, and the different Gandhars in Darbari. Oh my goodness me! It was, and he would show it, and his eyes could see those notes, could see those shrutis. So yes, because I learned from him and constantly sitting and hero worshipping him and learning from him, of course I got those expressions also. That comes naturally to me. But so this combination of making this it was just natural.
It's fantastic. What I really like is the fact, जैसे कि introduction में भी मैंने आपको उस्ताद माँ कहा. And that is, I think, something that you've given to all women artists across the country, because men would not even think about using Ustad or Pandit to showcase their proficiency in music. But there never existed, the equivalent of Ustad. It was always a Begum, ya Shrimati, ya Kumari. And I think you found that a little too patriarchal. I'd love to go into the roots of that. When was the first time you came up with that term?
Well, while I was growing up, I just saw Begum Akhtar, the name. Okay, forget Akhtari Bai, but becoming, and then for her, it was the hugest thing was to become Begum. So to have a marital status or to have a man backing a woman was so important, much more than the artist that you are, the Saraswati that you are. It was a dichotomy. It was something that I just couldn't understand. I just couldn't take it. Also, Kishori Amonkar ji, for the longest of time, she is my idol. She is one of my heroes. And I call her Puppi, Labua, which is, I mean, oh my goodness me. But for the longest of time, her name was always Shrimati Kishori Amonkar.
Yes. Yes,
To
absolutely.
have that marital title is bigger than the Saraswati that you are. Or to have Yamini Krishnamurti Kumari. She was unmarried, so she had to use Kumari, KM. Yamini Krishna, doctor. And then later on, when she got a doctorate from a university, she used Dr. Yamini Krishnamurti. But there was no title for her artistry. The Saraswati, the Durga that you are. My goodness me, this is the time of Navratri. We celebrate, we celebrate the Devis, but we forget to celebrate the Devis in women. Each girl child has that Devi inside her. Each man, Ardhnar, not just Nari, but Ardhnari, he Nareshwar, Ardhnareshwar. They all have half woman qualities and half man qualities, and that's what makes yin and yang and a human being. And you forget to celebrate the woman in you. You celebrate to the feminine side, the powerful feminine soft beauty mamta. Then I added, made a, instead of saying Guru Ma, I coined a new word called Ustad Ma. Ma, because only a woman can give birth, which is so amazing. You can have seeds and the semen of so many men, yes, but until you have that 9 months of growing and nurturing inside her. So I thought that Ma was very important to know the greatness of being a mother. And Ustad, apne kaam ki Ustad hona. So then I felicitated lots of women artists, and I still do every year in a huge big ceremony, where then I call and I invite people like Pandit Birju Maharaj ji, who come and talk about it and say how important it is.
Yes.
People
Absolutely.
like Hari Prasad Chacha, people like Shiv Kumar ji, from the government sector, from the industrial sector, the biggest names of Hari Bhartiya Bhai and of Jubilant and the Bajajes, all of them who are family friends, and the Ambanis and the so everybody and from every sphere of the powerful corridors and ministers and big sitting ministers at that point. So I call them and then they talk about it. And then my students also perform. And then we felicitate with a lovely silver plaque. Then we felicitate the woman artist, great women artist. And after that, I have seen very beautifully Rohini Jan. I have seen Shobana Narayan Bibi very sweetly writing after Guru Ma or something like that, Shobana Narayan. Rightly so. And after that, I've seen everybody using the word for her profession, the title for her profession, not just her marital status, which
you have basically given the women of India a new lexicon to be identified with. And that to me is a huge thing. So thank you for that.
I just thank my sensibilities. I thank my sensibilities that at least we were we recognized this together, and many men did so too. Yes. Except that they did not voice it. They did not stand up and let this happen for women artists. Such great women artists, my goodness me. Ooh.
You know, which brings me to the opportunity that you were given in 2008 to actually have your own, कहते हैं ना अपना एक छोटा सा आशियाना आपने खुद बनाया जिसके जरिए आप ये सब कर पाई. Do talk to us a little bit about the institution that you run and the sort of sensibilities about it as well, because this was done with the idea, exactly this idea, to empower women artists, right?
The girl child, especially the underprivileged, and boys also, but especially the underprivileged, who find it very difficult to go to urban areas and stay and in a home, rent a place or learn from a guru. I then made this Gurukul, but it's called UstadGah, Ustadon ki Jagah. Same thing like Gurukul, but I just needed a new name. Because Gurukul, touchwood, has been used so many times by so many people, and very wonderfully so. Every drop counts. Every drop counts. Whoever in this world is doing whatever for anybody, for your neighbor, for your child, for each other, for your friends, that late night call when you listen to a friend who's pouring her heart out, to the underprivileged. I have given classes to children who live under bridges in Calcutta. I've forgotten the name of the sanstha, but my friend Ruchira Gupta, who works for a feminine, for the girl child, not just that, but even against human trafficking and prostitution, helping those girls and all. So I've taught children, and since then, since 2008, before all this Gurukul and schools and the Chennai school and the Bombay Bollywood school, people are structuring, which is wonderful. I said each drop counts. But before all this became fashionable, I did it because I felt the need for it. They also do it because they feel the need for it. I'm just saying that I think I started this and did this then because I grew up with equality, but I also grew up with lots of students who stayed in my house with my learning from my father. And my father never took money from students ever in his life. I don't take money from students ever. But this is also because, देखो, मजबूरी होती तो लेते.
बिल्कुल.
हम ये किसी को जजमेंट नहीं करते कि दूसरे पैसे क्यों लेते, नहीं. जिसकी जो मजबूरी है वो अपने हिसाब से चलेगा. Circumstances is the biggest teacher. If we had needed it, we would take it, but God is kind. We didn't need it, and so we didn't. And also that gave us an opportunity to choose only those students who have given their lives for music. So, and to shape them. So I've seen all those kinds of students who are highly musical. Some were very rich, some were not, and some were very poor. And from different religions. And they lived in our home, in our outhouses. We had outhouses for students, different cooks for them, looking after their vegetarian and non-vegetarian things. The non-vegetarian things were not, utensils were not touched with the vegetarian utensils, so much. And we fed them. And I grew up seeing all this, that they were learning just for giving their lives to music. And I feel that was so spiritual. That this came again to me, I would say very naturally, because I am made of a different fiber. I stand for my rights, I speak my mind, but I'm hugely compassionate. And I believe in love. I believe in forgiveness. These are the things that I cherish, I enjoy, and I celebrate. I've just finished today, finishing my classes with some students who I do online, again, for free. I don't do that as a business, but I do it because they are unable to travel right now. I teach 100, 200, 300, 500 children at a time.
Correct. The sky is the limit when you have a willing teacher and willing students. So आपको हमेशा से मिलते रहे हैं. That is just the grace, and that is just the grace.
God is kind. When you have something, just share it. Absolutely. I'm just sharing it. God is really, really kind. Touch wood.
You know, this brings me to my last question, which is, I'm very curious to know, usually, koi jab music mein itna samay bitata hai, they get very, very serious about it in a way that is almost cutting off any other art form. And I've noticed that with a lot of people. But with you, Zila, I have noticed that you have embraced other forms of art as well, artistic expression, whether it's theater, whether it's, cinema, Bajirao Mastani or Gohar, which was on the stage. Please tell me, what is it that motivates you to give other art forms an equal or perhaps a sort of slightly, democratic chance, if I may say?
So that is the rebel in me.
Correct.
I think. My rebelliousness is to push myself to that edge and fly from the cliff, take risks with new skill sets,
Yes.
and hone them and work at it till I die. Literally, I die, because learning huge dialogues for, I mean, it's a 2 hour play, Gohar, and to learn 1 hour full of dialogues, 1 hour ka to mera hi usme sab kuch hai. So to learn all that and to memorize it, it's a different skill set than music. I think it's just that I get bored very easily with the same kind of stuff. I don't respect people who don't take risks, because I love that respect. Love, I will love you no matter what.
Correct.
All of you.
Correct.
But respect comes when someone has the guts to take the risk to do something, to develop something new. Even in 2000, ours was the first Sufi and jazz collaboration ever in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
With Louis Banks. I came to Louis Banks' house. I call him the magic man. So when Soli Sorabji and Utsav, Jazz Yatra, when they asked me for a concert, I did. But then I came to Bombay and I went to Louis Banks' house and I said, "Come on, Magic Man, let's do something together." And he said, "Yes." So that was the first time India witnessed jazz and Sufi music coming together ever. It was in Kamani Hall.
Correct.
And what a beautiful concert. So I like taking, because I'm not scared of what will people say, number one. I'm not scared of having to hold on to one profession just to be successful. नहीं तो मेरा क्या होगा, लोग मेरा नाम नहीं जानेंगे, मुझे फिर पहचानेंगे नहीं. What will I do? I am not such a nimi. You know what I mean? I'm not such a wimpy kind of person. I am, with the love and the empathy, I love doing new things. I love stimulation, whether it's love, whether it's food, whether it's love making, whether it's Sufi music, whether it's emotion, whether it's with my child, whether it's in my profession. I love stimulation and I learn very fast. I'm very mercurial. I learn very fast. So I absorb from many people lots of things, qualities which I love. And then I talk about it and I give them due credit that ye maine inse ye baat seekhi hai. Or so I love doing new stuff. My father, the first time in classical stage, on the classical stage, the first time folk music was ever played on the classical stage was by Ustad Vilayat Khan. Yes. My father, when he played Bhatyali for the first time. So that is how semi-classical music came onto the stage of classical music back in the 20s and 30s and 40s.
Imagine. Yeah.
When people earlier would only do classical music concerts, his father and his contemporaries, Abba taught them how to bring semi-classical music at the fag end of the concert, yes, but to bring semi-classical and folk music onto the classical platform. Similarly, he sang Sufi songs sometimes, he sang a ghazal sometimes, just that way. Begum Akhtar ji was my father's student when they were doing Jalsa. Abba was the music director for Jalsa Ghar, Satyajit Ray's film, one of our favorite films. In Jalsa Ghar, then Abba had Begum Akhtar Phuphi sing a ghazal of hers. And at that time, I have lovely pictures of them, both of them smoking together. She also and him also sitting and smoking together and chilling and, you know, oh, I love that. I love all this. So she, at that time, when she heard his kind of innovation in ghazal, then she, even in fact, in the archives at NCPA, somebody mentioned this, that then she became a student of Abba. But that is her greatness. Again, anybody who learns from anybody else. जो bless कर रहा है वो भी great है, लेकिन जो blessings ले रहा है वो बहुत great है. अब्बा हमारे बहुत अच्छी चीज कहते थे, to give is big, very great, but to be able to receive is even greater.
How beautifully said. How beautiful. And I think that's what you kind of applied, because you've constantly learned, you've constantly innovated, and you've constantly broken new ground, Zila. I cannot tell you, this would have been incomplete a series without your participation. So on behalf of the CSMVS, I really want to thank you.
I am thankful and very grateful, and I love being a part of this, because I not just love your organization, but I respect it, because what class and creed and amazing work you all have done. I'm not just saying it. I respect it thoroughly.
Well, thank you so much, Zila, for joining us today. And you're going to leave us with a beautiful performance, so I cannot thank you more. Take care.
I'm very grateful, and thank you very much. Lots of love.
Thank you.
छाप तिलक सब छीन ली रे मोसे नैना मिलई के, छाप तिलक सब छीन ली रे मोसे नैना, प्रेम भटी का मधवा पिलई के, प्रेम भटी का मतवारी कर ली नीरे मोसे नैना मिलई के, मतवारी कर ली नीरे मोसे नैना, मोसे नैना, मोसे नैना मिलई के. बल बल जाऊं मैं तोरे रंग रिजवा, बल बल जाऊं मैं, बल बल, बल बल जाऊं मैं तोरे रंग, मैं तोरे रंग, मैं तोरे रंग रिजवा, अपनी सी कर ली नीरे मोसे नैना, मोसे नैना मिलई के, अपनी सी कर ली नीरे मोसे नैना, मोसे नैना मिलई के, मोसे सेना मिलई के, अपनी सी कर ली नीरे मोसे मिलई के, छाप तिलक सब छीन रे मोसे नैना रे मोसे नैना, नैना 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 रे मोसे नैना, मोसे नैना मिलई के. खुसरो निजाम के बल बल जाइए, खुसरो निजाम के बल बल, बल बल जाइए, खुसरो निजाम के बल बल, हो मोरे बल 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 बल, मोहे सुहागन की नीरे मोसे नैना मिलई के, मोहे सुहागन की नीरे मोसे नैना मिलई के, छाप तिलक सब छीन रे मोसे नैना, हाँ मोसे नैना मिलई के.